Soccerworld Fan TV here. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but it's pretty much being recorded actually at night right now and everything. But another Magista wanted to come in and talk about the game and everything. Hikmat. First and foremost, how do you feel about the game? What are your thoughts, especially after the Champions League fixture against Shakhtar? Didn't go as planned, but definitely got the job done here, eh?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's what Zidane said after the game too. It's all about the players, because the quality's always been there. I mean, we can criticize Zidane for the tactical reasons. People say we're not creating chances, we're not, as direct as we should be. But really, with a team, the squad you have, games like Shakhtar should not be happening. The quality alone should get you over the line against a team like Shakhtar. No disrespect, but they're missing most of their team. Cadiz, no disrespect, but nearly promoted. You shouldn't be losing that kind of game. So I'm just happy we bounced back. It almost gives me reminders of last year. If you remember, there was a period of games when Madrid lost a couple in a row,
Mm-hmm.
and then we went and then had the 2-2 draw against PSG, which we should have won. Like we played amazing. So right when it really mattered, when it seemed like crisis, just yesterday the headlines were like Zidane's job is in danger, and I laugh at that. It's not in danger. Trust me, it's not in danger, right? And today showed it. I'm just happy about the game. Like I didn't go in with a lot of expectations, but I'm more than happy.
You did talk about Zidane as well. I mean, I remember last season as well, where he was in a bad run of form, especially even in the Champions League. He wasn't getting the results and everything, but he managed to turn around. But I saw the league and everything. I was like, hold on a minute, he's actually doing okay though. In terms of like, if you look at a Premier League team and everything, and you looked at the table then, I mean, apart from the Champions League games and everything, he was actually. So I don't know, but maybe there is too much pressure putting on Zidane to produce.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And then there's fair concerns too. Like there's concerns about making chances. Like that's a fair concern fans have. Like when you watch a Madrid game nowadays, like I remember the days of we a newly promoted team when they came to La Liga, it'd be like they got baptized. You came to the Bernabeu, you conceded 4-5. Welcome to La Liga, right? Now you get teams like Cadiz, if not just Cadiz, other teams that are quote unquote smaller teams giving Madrid a really hard time. And I don't think it's necessarily that the quality of La Liga has gotten that good, where every team is now really good. They have gotten better for sure, but just in general, like the dominance of Real Madrid and Barcelona has waned a bit, and that's a fact. Like they're not the same dominant 100-point teams anymore. I mean, last year we still hit, I believe 90, 91. But even then, it didn't feel like a 90-point season. In previous years, we've lost the league with 99 points. We've lost the league with 90 plus points, right? Like that's something that happened because the other teams, just Barca, were just so good. The quality overall has dropped a little bit. There's fair concerns. But again, I think with Zidane, like his main goal has always been La Liga. Last year he said, "Where my purpose, like my goal this year, straight out, he prioritized La Liga over Champions League." And for Madrid fans, that was amazing. I think this year, if we can defend it, it'd actually be the first time in 30 years for Real Madrid to win the league title back to back, which is actually quite shocking for a team like Real Madrid to not win two leagues in a row in over 30 years. Is uh, is below standard, right? So that's
Mm.
something that I think is going to be the focus this. If we can win La Liga this year, even if Champions League we get out of the group, we have a decent run. It'll be a successful season if you win La Liga. Yeah.
We're talking more about like Zidane and his career, but let's get back onto the game and everything. Of course, I'm gonna talk about the red card, not the red card. Sorry, the whole penalty situation with Ramos and everything. We did have a little talk about it before the game and everything, and after you got some time to relax and everything, what is your thought process through the thing? Because you did say it was a fair. What is it? It was a fair
Decision. Yeah.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my view on that is like there's always these people who say, why do we make everything about the refs? Why do we always talk controversy? Why do we always make it about the refs? I think questions like that make it about the refs. Like it doesn't have to be about the refs. Today's game was not about the refs. You can try all you want to make it about the penalty, and it's happened by every journalist. No matter how. I'm not just talking tabloid news. I'm talking about even respected journalists are making about the call, and I'm saying that kind of contributes to the whole discourse, the discourse on referees calls VAR, right? In terms of if you look at the angle the referees see, if you look at the camera angles we all saw, right? So there's a pull on the shirt, the player goes down, and I'll be honest, the going down had nothing to do with the shirt. He threw himself in the opposite direction, defied the laws of physics. He just lunged in the other direction, right? But that's to make the ref review the call. And that I think is maybe a problem with VAR, where you have to maybe fall or you have to be a certain type of stature of a player to even have it reviewed. Because if that's Vinicius and he doesn't fall in that way, that's not being given, right? Because the ref's like, okay, yeah, 20-year-old guy threw himself down. It's not even being looked at, right? So I think VAR needs to, not just VAR, but the referees that use VAR in Spain have to look at being consistent with it. Real Batista actually posted a picture after the game. If you've seen, um, they posted it, with the question emoji. A game they had a couple of days ago where the same kind of shirt pull was not given, and that's a fair concern on their behalf, right? Because they're saying, why is there a double standard? I don't think that there's a double standard in terms of like referees aren't going out of their way to favor Madrid. Because if you take that line, you go down a rabbit hole of, okay, where does the buck stop? Like, where is this conspiracy? Where is this money going? Like, are you suggesting there's corruption? How come no one has ever heard of it? How come the referees have never come out and say, I've been getting a fancy new car from the capital, wrapped in gift wrap, right? That kind of stuff that doesn't happen. I think it's just in terms of the way the calls are going, things get made about calls. La Liga and Clasico has always been about the calls for some reason. It shouldn't be. I don't think today was about the calls, but the call I think was a fair call. Just going back to the call, it was a fair call.
Mm,
Maybe in the future we should get to a level where the player doesn't have to throw himself down for the referee to review it, where the referees will be consistent. But for the time being, that's a smart play from your captain. You want him to, you take the contact. You did get impeded. Like the impeding was there, and that's what gives the penalty, not the fact that he falls. Right? I
mm.
think it's a fair call. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, my perspective of it is everything, right? And you talk about the impediment and everything. Do remember one time in an Arsenal game where Salah actually got pulled back and everything, and that was called for a penalty, right? He didn't go down and anything. It was pretty much right away. He was called for a penalty. I know in certain situations, what is that, outside the box, where you do pull and then that can count as a foul, right? You don't see often where there's like shirt pulling and everything, right? That right away it's given as a penalty and everything. And why do you think specifically this moment it was a fair call?
Yeah. See, I think the issue is more like, for example, the example of Real Betis, or even last year in the Clasico, the 0-0. There's a short pull from Longley on Varane, right? In
Mm,
those scenarios, it's not given. It's not that this is the one scenario where it's something different. I think those are the referees are just wrong when they don't give it. If you remember early in the Premier League this year, I don't exactly believe which team. It might have been Burnley or Villa involved. But there was a shirt pull and there's a direct red card before the player even went down, right? Because the referee deemed it to be a clear chance on goal. The player got pulled. He didn't fall. He just got pulled. He stopped a little bit, and the referee straight red card, right? And that was like, wow, I've never seen that given. But I think that's where the game needs to go. If you want that kind of shirt pulling to stop in the box, and I'm not talking about small pulling and tugging and a little bit of shoving, that kind of stuff happens, right? Players tussle in the box. But for example, what happened to Ramos or what Maguire did today, right, with the headlock on
oh
Aspilicueta.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you
yeah.
if you give that a couple of times, right, players stop doing it. Like, you can phase that kind of stuff out of the game because really it is, if you want attacking football, you want good goals, you can't be letting defenders, wrestle players, hold on to players. And in this, if you look at the picture of the Ramos one, right, his shirt is spread a good 2-3 feet. Like his shirt has been stretched. You can see the arm's length, and he's still holding onto the shirt for dear life, long way, right? You don't want that kind of stuff in the game, right? So I think it was a good call just because by the rules, if you impede the attacker player who wasn't able to make a fair attempt at the ball, even if the ball was too high, I think the ball was a bit too high for him anyways. But he didn't even get a chance to. Like we'll never know if he would have got the ball.
That's
In the
fair.
future, we should not have to deal with that, right? It shouldn't be a what if. It should be like the player either get the ball or you didn't get the ball, right? Instead of the pull in.
All right, good insight on the whole situation there. But of course, after the situation, I think there was a clear winner, and I think Madrid did play, more expansive. They tried to go for the game more than Barcelona, and did deflate them at the end. And do you think that kind of mentality, would that really push them to push for back-to-back titles this season?
Definitely. I think like a big part of it, especially in the something like La Liga, you need a leader. You need someone who instills confidence because again, like I said, in theory, quality alone should get you over the line against smaller teams. It doesn't. You lose, you drop points. That's where the focus comes in, right? Even if you want to talk about Barca for a second now, right? Like what they did in the game, they threw on four attacking players, or three at once, I believe. The formation got thrown away at the 82nd minute. All of a sudden, you have one midfielder. You have De Jong, and he's playing with Coutinho, Messi, Trincao, Dembele, and Griezmann. That's five attackers and one midfielder. That's not a formation. That's a manager playing FIFA, throwing on everyone for a last ditch. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me just throw everyone on, right? So definitely, it is a sense of belief in your players and also making sure that belief trickles down. So the players have the belief that they can do it, right? So at 1-1, you didn't see Madrid panicking. Oh my God, we just got picked apart by one Messi pass and that's it, right? They dug in. And I think on the balance of things, like overall the game, like we were the better team in terms of clear chances. They're Madrid side. Barca's chances came from, in the box crosses and then there was, it hit off someone's back or something like that, right? Like I don't remember many clear chances other than the Courtois save on Messi and the Coutinho header, right? Whereas from Madrid, you can look at the Cruz save, you can look at the Ramos volley on Neto. Like there's a bunch of chances in there, right? So I think definitely the mentality is a big part of it. And I'm not too big of a fan of football where it's just passion, passion. Come on, just do it, right? Like I think there's a side of the game where there's technical and there's tactics and there's a philosophy involved. And I don't, and I'm not to say that Zidane doesn't have tactical ability or tactical acumen. He does. The changes he makes shows that. It just means that there's also a big part of the intangibles of belief and leadership, which I think Barca lacks. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, especially how they're trying to bring in new players. And they're kind of trying to, kind of like with Madrid as well. They're trying to bring in young players and everything, install in the team, and trying to build something as well. And that's another thing that's I think most impressive about Madrid as well is the fact that they had a lot of young players coming in as well. And they still managed to win the title as well, especially with that run.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely a big thing too. Like this year, like the beginning of the year, we were expecting Odegaard and Hazard to be like two new signings, right? And I believe Odegaard, if he wasn't already a Madrid player, like if let's say he was owned by Sociedad after the season he had in Spain, right? Sociedad, he got them to a Europa League spot. He was the best midfielder in La Liga before the lockdown. Um, like if he wasn't already a Madrid player, the hype level for him, I think would be we'd be talking about 80, 90 million for teams coming in. Like that's how good he is. It is that the fact that Madrid already had him, it goes under the radar, right? No one's talking about him because he's already a Madrid player, right? There's no transfer rumors to be had about Odegaard, right? So I think we were expecting these two new signings and young players to be in the team. Unfortunately, with injuries, Odegaard's out for a month, Hazard's out until God knows when, maybe December.
Mm.
So there's definitely the aspect of like you have to work with what you have. I think Zidane is using the younger players, and not just younger players, also using players. Like there's one thing we always talk about managers about using young players and young talent. I think it's just as important to be able to get the best out of your aging players without overworking them. You look at the example of Benzema. He's 33 years old, and he's had the best 2 seasons of his life in the past 2 years. Modric last year, Modric is 35. Like if you think about that, that's MLS age, right? He's 35 years old, and he's just had last year 12 games after lockdown. He started all 12. He played amazing. Probably our best midfielder after the lockdown, right? Today again, he was good. He came off the bench, scored a goal, not just a goal. He played well, right? So it's definitely the level of like you have to work the squad you're given. I don't think like I'm not a fan of managers who try to imprint their philosophy on the team necessarily, and it's their way or the highway. It's right. I think you have to work with what you have, the players you have, and with what the team that Madrid has, the team that Zidane has. I'm not expecting changes in the winter. The team that we do have, it makes sense for the system that we're going with. Of course, I do expect improvements in terms of playing better. Like it's still not at the level I would expect Madrid to be at, making clear chances. Odegaard, get him into the team, have some more opportunities for because this is why we're sitting on a gem with Odegaard, right? We're sitting on someone who can be amazing, who already is proven himself. To create more direct chances, maybe even Jovic, whatever his situation is, if that ever if he ever decides to play again.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that, I think it definitely is. It's definitely a case of the manager using the squad to the best of their abilities, young and old, with Zidane. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much once again with this amazing explanation of yourself. And if you do agree with this explanation, I think it was explained absolutely brilliantly from top to bottom. Please give this video a like. Please share this video as well. And of course, you're welcome to come back once again. I know we don't stream a lot of La Liga matches, but we do have the Barca versus Juve game that we are going to stream. And it'll be interesting to see your perspective on it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, so again, please subscribe to the Soccerworld channel right here for more amazing content like this and more amazing opinions of the game that we love. And yeah, hope to see you guys soon.
All right. Thank you. Take care. Bye.